Horror is one of the biggest film genres in the world, so why aren't there more horror musicals? Today we're going to talk about scary shows and Bat Boy the Musical. I'm Will from The Theater Lovers. I'm a theater content creator and historian. Dot is afraid of that flashlight, and this is The Theater Lore. Horror as a genre taps into our cultural fears, portraying heightened situations using universal emotions. These stories stay relevant across generations. Tons of horror movies outlived their casts. And there's a horror play you can't even say the name of in a theater. So what about horror musicals? There are surprisingly more than you think. Some big horror hits include The Phantom of the Opera, Sweeney Todd, and Jekyll and Hyde. But there's still a lot of risk on stage, especially with horror musicals. Think of big flops like Carrie and Dance of the Vampires and American Psycho and Dracula. Musical theater tends to embrace the camp side of these horror stories in a way that straight plays often do not, and that sensibility really thrives in off-Broadway spaces. And off-Broadway is where Little Shop of Horrors found its audience in the 80s, running for 5 years and ending its run as the most profitable off-Broadway musical at the time, though I do get the irony of citing the profitability of the greatest anti-capitalist musical. And off-Broadway is where we got Bat Boy. She's terrified. It's based on the long-running tabloid character from the Weekly World News. You remember this guy from the checkout line at the grocery store? A bat child is found in a cave, and this half-human, half-bat is growing into a teenager. And there's a cute girl, and there's a lot of dead cows, and there's no answers. The show has a rock score by Lawrence O'Keefe, who later wrote Legally Blonde and Heathers. He knows how to make an audience feel for malicious characters, and he knows that musicals have to win over their audience's trust musically. So Bat Boy is horror, but is it scary? Not necessarily, but that's not no. It's genre parody full of B-movie style chord stings. Like a riff on Frankenstein and Dracula, but those stakes are very real. Dracula stakes. And you are meant to be horrified by some of the events. It's about understanding that animal side within all of humanity. You empathize deeply for the title character and you feel for his isolation and pain. And without spoiling anything, there are definitely moments where you're supposed to be like, what the Farley and Fleming? They wrote the book. Bat Boy's closest theater sibling really is Little Shop. Campy but sincere, with great music and more to say than you'd expect. Bat Boy did well when it opened off Broadway in March 2001 with enthusiastic audiences, so why did it ever close?
I don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but it certainly didn't help. But
in fall 2001, NYC tourism dried up, and a lot of shows closed earlier than they'd hoped. But in a season that also saw Urinetown transfer to Broadway, there was definitely room for our Bat friend to find his way uptown. Now, with Bat Boy hitting New York City Center, the show can finally see an even larger audience. Maybe the real question is, what's Bat Boy afraid of? Dot, what do you think Bat Boy is afraid of? The vet. Bat Boy is running October 29th through November 9th.